Did you know if your child speaks to the police, they may actually confess to something they didn't do? This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. So, it seems like it would be kind of a common thing for kids to be so scared once they're being accused of a crime or they're in front of the police that they're going to just start talking and confessing to things. So I know that there's a famous case where this happened, right?
Right, and it's not that they're just going to, falsely confess to something. It's the way that they respond to police questioning and police tactics, and they don't hold up as well as an adult in the same situation would hold up. And, like the textbook case of this is the Central Park Five, and that's where we have, 5 juveniles who are questioned by the police. The police use all of their bags of tricks to get them ultimately to confess to the murder and rape of a jogger in Central Park in New York. And they were sentenced. It ruined all 5 of their lives. It's a fascinating case to read about. And we know that they didn't do it because later DNA evidence exonerated them. And so really, it was just a huge loss for the criminal justice system. It really is an example of, why police tactics don't result in justice. And the travesty with this case is the victim's family thought that they had the right people who murdered, their wife, their daughter, their sister. And the jogger was actually raped and murdered by a completely different person who was out in the streets free. And so when the case was reopened, it reopened a wound for the victim's family, but it also devastated and ruined these 5 young men's life.
And it was many years later, I think it was something like 18 years later or something like that they got released from prison?
Right. And so, just their whole life trajectory changed. They faced all of the same issues that anybody who's been in prison faces when they, come back into society. And the police tactics that were used essentially involved them using lies, telling the juvenile that, another member of the 5, was confessing, and if they wanted to, go ahead and tell them what happened and be honest with them, they would ask for leniency with the prosecution. And so all of a sudden, these officers are asking these juveniles, leading questions, and then once they have the juvenile with their story straight, because it is a story, it's not what actually happened, they record the statements. And so, it's really a sad case, but it just shows how susceptible juveniles are to false confessions and how, police tactics are really unfair.
Yeah, because the court system is supposed to be about, there wasn't a confession, and so the determining who committed this crime is based on evidence. So ultimately, this one was decided by DNA evidence, but at the time, the having of a confession is going to be more powerful and incriminating than anything else, right?
Right. I mean, even when you have a confession, a false confession, it's really hard for the jury to get past that and look at, direct evidence. And sometimes the direct evidence is even, it conflicts with the false confession. And even in those cases with adults, it's really hard for a jury not to convict somebody based on a false confession.
Yeah, so I know we've talked before about juveniles' rights to an attorney, and juveniles really should be operating the same way adults. So we've always said to any adult down at the police station, just don't talk. So they need to call an attorney, and that attorney should be you. So how do they get a hold of you?
We'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.